This is Glenn Campbell, coming to you from the beach in Sarasota, Florida. I'm looking over some fine waterfront property here, wondering if I should buy. Now, if you had the money, you could buy a house like this. It's on the beach, it's facing these beautiful white sands. It would be your second or third home. Of course, it would be a vacation home. You'd come here in the winter time when it's so cold up north. You may look at people who own houses like this, and you may think, they're so lucky. They have the money that they could have second homes and third homes and all these beautiful possessions. And I look at that and I think, God, these people are trapped. These people have taken their money and turned it into solid assets that are going to hold them down for the rest of their lives. Now, I'm not objecting to money here. No, if you give me money, I'll take your money. Give me a lot of zeros in my bank account and I'd be happy with that. I have no objection whatsoever to money in liquid form. The problem is when money is turned into solid form like that. People buy a house like that. They're here a couple months out of the year, sometimes only a couple weeks out of the year, yet this thing is holding them down. This thing is an asset, or a liability actually, that they have to manage. They have to keep the grounds up. They have to pay whatever needs to be paid to keep this house going for really a trivial amount of time that they're spending there. As opposed to, say, going to one of those hotels down the beach, where you can get a very nice hotel for a few $100s, but not having any of the obligations. This is the problem with money. As I say, I have no objection to money. Money is buys you freedom. Having money in the bank is like having freedom in the bank because it means you don't have to worry about money, first of all. But it means that you're going to have a lot of options in your future life. Once you take that money and you start turning it into solid assets, like this, money becomes a liability. It becomes a drain on your freedom. And that's the most important thing. Freedom is the real coin of life, not money. Money is useful when it helps you buy more freedom. But when you buy more assets, you're really buying less freedom. You're buying something that needs to be maintained. This is the great resistance. This is the great temptation when you have money, is to start using it. And when you start using it, you start buying things you don't need, and those in turn become a drain on the rest of your life. You can buy a second home, a third home, and if you have money, you can buy someone to manage all of your homes. But then you've got to maintain the person who's managing all of your homes until eventually, no matter how many resources you have, you get to the point where your resources just can't support this huge infrastructure. It doesn't matter how rich you are. At some point, you come to the point where you've spent more than you can maintain, and your life becomes a burden from there on in, even if you've got $50 million or $100 million. The key is using your money wisely to buy the things that are really important. Buying the freedom to do what you really want to do. The trouble is, people have money, but that doesn't give them a mission. And when you have money and no mission, then buying things becomes your mission. And that's the thing that occupies the rest of your life till you die. We got a certain amount of time on this planet. We got 80 years, 90 years on this planet. Every day of that remaining time on Earth is the coin that we're dealing with. And we want to be able to do what we want to do with that time. And if what you want to do is to maintain a dozen homes, then that will absorb all of your time. If you happen to think of something else that's better to do with your time, then you want your assets to be liquid. I got no problem with liquid money in the form of a bank account. I got a big problem with solid money in the form of assets like this one. Nobody needs assets. No one needs this house on the beach. People buy this house on the beach because they're trying in some symbolic way to buy the beach. They think that by owning a house on the beach, they've owned the beach. They don't realize that 2 or 3 days after you move into this house, you don't see the beach anymore. You're on the internet. You're watching TV. You don't even look out the window to this expensive view you've purchased. All that really matters is doing the things you want to do, accomplishing the things you want to do. And right now, at this point in time, you may not know what those things are. That's why it's nice to have money in the bank. Money in the bank is something you could use for anything. You could use it for good purposes, bad purposes, but as long as it's there in the bank, it's giving you freedom to do what you want to do sometime in the future. At a certain point, money doesn't become valuable anymore. If you've got $50 million, the next $50 million really isn't going to make a difference, as long as you don't start investing in things like this. Once you start taking your millions and spreading them all over the world in various assets that you're going to keep track of, then you're starting to build a huge infrastructure around yourself. And ultimately, you're not going to be able to do the things that you want. You can be a very, very rich person and still be totally tied down, totally imprisoned by the structure you've created for yourself. I enjoy the beach. I enjoy coming here. I enjoy walking for free along the sand. And when I'm done, when I've tired with it, I move on. I go someplace else. Even though I don't have a lot of money, I have the freedom to do that. These people don't. These people's children are probably only going to know this beach house because that's what we've invested in. I've known a lot of kids who have come from very wealthy families, and all they've ever known on their vacations is their cottage in Maine or their house on Cape Cod, because that's what their family has invested in. And actually, they have restricted their children's lives by being so invested. So the moral here, the lesson here is money, good. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's good when it helps you buy freedom. Money is bad when it buys you liabilities and it ties you down. So, if you have any extra money, you don't want to be tied down, you can send it to me. I'll put it in a bank account. I'll take good care of it for you, and I'll make sure it's used for a good purpose. Thank you very much.